Ginny, Lisa, Rose had dragged you to some nightclub. You didn't want to go, you just wanted to wait for Jungkook to get home and then go to sleep. But no, instead you had to drink, dance, and probably end up looking stupid. You all are showed your fake IDs and got in. Guys, I think this dress is a little too short. Jungkook is going to kill me, you muttered worriedly to them. Don't let Jungkook control what you wear, YN. You have an amazing body, show it off. Ginny hyped you up. Oh my god, look at him. Rose shrieked at the girls, their heads turned towards a table that had four guys sitting around smoking cigarettes. There's a no smoking sign in front of them on the wall, inarrogant. Let's get their attention. Lisa giggled mischievously, pulling all onto the dance floor. No, guys, I'm engaged to be married. I don't want any other man's attention, you reminded them. Then just dance for yourself. Have fun. Ginny giggled, grabbing shot of vodka off the waitress walking by. This was going to be disastrous. You could already feel it. Rose handed you one and you contemplated taking it. Drink it, Rose demanded, and weirdly enough you did. At least it would make the night go by faster. Jenny, Rose, Lisa, and you were all dancing to a very sexual song when you noticed the guys staring at all like you all were dessert. You knew you shouldn't come. You saw one of man heading your way. You was going to leave when you felt a hand grab your wrist, stopping you from moving. Hey, a relatively deep voice grabbed your attention. You turned around to see a guy who looked in his late 20s with a tight haircut and clean shaven face. He had blonde hair and pale skin. You also noticed his tattoo stretching from his wrist to his neck. To his other wrist, it reminded you of Jungkook and how his sleeve stops near his shoulder, whereas this guy had both arms covered. Do you like my tattoos? He pulled up his sleeves, showing you more of the tattoos. Yeah, they're cool, you commented, not trying to come off as flirty. Do you wanna dance? His thick Spanish accent asked. Before you could reply, he seemed to notice the bracelet on your wrist. You already have a boyfriend, he questioned you, holding your wrist up and staring at the bracelet. Yeah, you replied, not actually knowing what you and Jungkook are. All you know is that if you said no, then Jungkook would hate you, and you don't want that. Not to mention that this dude is creepy. Come on, baby, spend the night with me. I'm sure I can change your mind about him. He muttered in your ear as he placed his hand on your waist. No, I'm okay. You forced his hand off, trying to hide the disgust plastered on your face. You was terrified, but trying desperately not to show it. You must be very loyal to deny me. That only makes you more attractive. He flirted with you, slowly getting closer. Very loyal. You slowly backed up with a frightened expression. You could see he was getting frustrated. I am a millionaire, I own this club and many more. He tried to pursue you. I can't be persuaded, I am not a cheat. You was still backing up amongst the people in the club. I am also a mafia leader. He winked at you. You froze. You have got to be kidding me. Why me? You thought. What's the name then? I'm sure I would have heard you on the news if that's true. You acted like you didn't believe him. We are called the Scarbloods. He smirked proudly. Wow, that sounds scary. You teased with a sarcastic tone. Fourth biggest mafia in the world, he uttered as you could smell the alcohol off his breath, which sent shivers down your spine. Jungkook had the biggest mafia. You have heard the Scarbloods. They are not as cruel as they make themselves out to be, but they have some weird torture methods. You knew instantly that the Scarbloods hated Jungkook's mafia simply because Jungkook has the biggest and largest mafia to exist. What is your name then? You questioned him, glaring at him suspiciously. You still don't believe me? He chuckled. Little did he know you was in the mafia yourself. No, I didn't know. Mafias were still around if I'm being honest. You shrugged. You could sense danger of him. He wasn't a man to be messed with. My name is Santiago, but it's Santi for short, he introduced himself. I am Lexi. You smiled politely, giving him a fake name. You didn't need this creep to know your real name. So, who's the man then? He asked. Ah, you wouldn't know him. You shrugged, brushing it off, making him more interested. Tell me, Santi almost demanded. His name is Alexandro. You hesitated. Why did you hesitate? He asked suspiciously. Wouldn't you hesitate if a mafia leader who wants to have sex with you wanted to know your boyfriend's name? You spoke with a cheeky but joking tone, trying to hide your fear. You had only now realized that there's no way out of this for you. He won't let you go unless it's with him, and Jungkook thinks you are doing okay. God, what if you never see Jungkook again? What if you never get to see his glorious abs again? Your eyes will never be blessed with such beauty again. You are joking if you can't tell, but you was actually scared. If he finds out that Jungkook is your boyfriend, he will use you as leverage over him. Not that Jungkook would give up his mafia for you. Santiago looked at your face that clearly showed you was thinking about something. What's wrong, baby? Does the fact that I'm from the mafia scare you? Santiago asked, pulling you closer by your waist and whispered in your ear. No, you leaned away from him, taken back by his sudden touchiness. She's got one of them. A drunk Rose stumbled over to you with an impressed tone. This bitch was seriously going to tell him you had a man in the mafia. Does she want you killed? No, no, I don't. You panic, responding quickly. Baby, if your man tries to hurt you, I will hurt him for you. Santiago slurred as he kissed your hand. You almost gagged, but you refrained. You saw the mark of his mafia burned into the side of his neck. Burning the symbol onto your skin was a bit extreme for your taste. Jenny approached you, joining the conversation. She hates attention, Jenny murmured, while donning shots of vodka, pointing over at you. Jen, relax on the drinks, Rose scolded as she snatched it away from her. Get them away. Santi snapped his fingers, signaling his goons to take your friends to one of the other tables. YN, Jungkook is going to be mad. Rose yelled crazily at you. You instantly felt your heart stop at the mention of Jungkook's name, the most notorious man in the mafia. Who is Jungkook? And you told me your name was Lexi. Santiago's face became angry, his eyebrows frowning and his jaw clenched. Oh, Jungkook is my brother, and as for my name, I use my middle one when I'm partying. You said the first lie that came to your head. Jungkook, he waited for a response. Jeon, Lisa shouted as she winked at you, thinking she was doing you a favor. How did she even know his second name? You must have told her at the sleepover and forgot. Well, there goes your life. Not like it was a good one anyway. You watched as Santiago eventually realized who Lisa was talking about. His facial expression grew quickly to rage as he scolded at you. Jungkook John, he shouted at you, but since the music was so loud, only you and him could really hear each other. She's joking. She's only saying that because she knows you are in the mafia. You tried to play it off. He grabbed your wrist, suddenly setting off a red flag in your head. That probably should have gone ages ago. Let go of me, you hissed at him, trying to force him to release his grip. Jungkook doesn't have a sister, Santiago snapped at you. Oh shit. Well then, looks like I am a mystery. You winked at Santiago. Come, spend a night with me and I'll let you go, no strings attached. Santiago proposed yet again, his anger dialing down as he thought you would sleep with him. No, you shook your head stubbornly. We are putting up a million fee for you then. Santiago went from furious to violent in the matter of seconds. He grabbed your arm and forced you through the back door of the nightclub. He had tied your wrists together behind your back with a zip tie. He was dragging you down a dark, damp, vacant street when a car pulled up. Santiago slipped out his gun that was in his jacket, pointing it at the person who just got out. It was Jungkook, and he was aiming for his head. You immediately stood in front of the gun, knowing it would kill you. Don't shoot, you hissed at Santiago. It's a 1 million Fijian. Santiago yelled at him. Jungkook had his gun pointing at Santiago. You really got yourself into that much debt. How would you smoke all those drugs? Jungkook teased, still holding his gun up, acting like he wasn't afraid. Here, there's the million. Jungkook showed him the back stack of money in his free hand. Santiago looked surprised that he handed it over that easily. Hand her over and you get the cash. I'm not giving you any more money. Jungkook shrugged, unbothered. You could see Santiago contemplating. Deal. Santiago showed you viscously, causing you to fall since you was wearing heels, not to mention the ground that was uneven and rough. You groaned in pain and noticed blood spilling from your head. You glanced up at Jungkook, who seemed furious at Santiago's actions. Santiago went to grab the money, but Jungkook shot him right in the head, purely out of anger. You stared at Santiago's body that dropped lifelessly to the ground in less than a second. F. Scarbloods, such a stupid mafia name. Jungkook scoffed frustratedly before picking up his money and walking over to you. He broke your zip ties effortlessly and helped you to stand on your feet. You okay? He mumbled, looking at your cheek and head before grabbing your face gently. Apparently, only when I'm with you. You sighed, leaning into his touch. He gave you a slight smile in reply. Come on, lovebirds, Taeyong yelled from inside the car. Why did you stand in front of the gun? Jungkook muttered as he stopped you. I don't know, you muttered, only now realizing what you did. You could have died. Jungkook snarled at you angrily, waiting for a response. I guess I'm willing to die for you, you replied honestly, catching him off guard and then just walking past him to the car. I guess I'm willing to die for you. He froze. He had never been told that before. If anything, he was always told he was broken toy, a piece in a game of chess. He could easily be replaced, therefore no one would have to give up there. Their life for him. He have always been a small part to a bigger game. You made him feel something with those words. He don't know what it was, but it was different. He stood still until Taeyong's yelling broke him out of his trance. You made him feel wanted, not needed. It's different when you are needed. They are using you for their benefits, but when they want you, they are willing to spend their time with you and don't want you to get hurt. And now he's afraid to lose you too. You both finally reached Jungkook's mansion. The car ride was silent, mainly because of everything that just happened. He got in and you went straight to your room. He went to his office room. He was filling out paperwork when he was interrupted by a knock on his door. People just can't seem to leave him alone. What? He hissed at the door. Taeyong opened it before closing it suspiciously behind him. He could tell he was F-wasted from here. The reeking smell of alcohol filled the room. What's wrong? He huffed while signing his name on contract. Nothing. What's wrong with you? He mumbled aggressively with an annoyed tone. Who do you think you are, F, speaking like that? Jungkook stood up with a demanding tone. Obviously not the same man from a few months ago. Taeyong shook his head disappointedly at him. Jungkook stayed silent, not understanding what he meant. She's changing you and I don't like it, he finally admitted, throwing his hands in the air. Why does everyone have some sort of problems with her? He yelled at him frustratedly. All. She is kind to you, to me, to everyone. She cares about everything. So don't stand there and tell me you don't like who I am becoming, mainly if it's because I am not as cruel or selfish or as ignorant. You are making horrible decisions because of her. Taeyong shouted back at him. Tae, Tay was his right-hand man and his best friend. If he wasn't his best friend, he would have been shot him on the spot moments ago. But he couldn't deny that he was irrational when it comes to you because he is. You are going to cause war with the Scarbloods over a girl. You are the F. Jungkook John, leader of the Reapers, the Mafia King, ruling all Mafia group under you. Start acting like that, Taeyong showed him. Jungkook sharply turned his stare to him. He grabbed Taeyong's arm roughly. You want to see cruel Jungkook, Taeyong? Then let me show you. He hissed at him. He grabbed Taeyong's arm and forced it into his knees, snapping his elbow. He earned a scream from Taeyong as he dropped to the floor. You want to see me ignorant, Taeyong? He shouted as he held him up by his shirt collar before kicking him on the ground. Taeyong groaned, coughing. Taeyong groaned, coughing uncontrollably from his kick. You want me ruthless? I'll give you ruthless. He snarled furiously. He kicked him again. Please, I'm sorry, Taeyong pleaded. Jungkook clenched his jaw as cracked his knuckles. F you, he spat at him. Get out of my sight, he ordered instantly, walking back to his chair. I take it back, she's only made you worse, Taeyong muttered while limping out of the room. Jungkook was still furious. He stood up and walked over to the wall, smashing his fist straight through it, attempting to relieve his anger. Maybe it's best if he keep his distance from you.